it?
What is it? It is March 25th, 2021, mere days before the Odyssey Alpha. It is the Loose Screws podcast. I'm Commander Jay on Tracks. And with me tonight is Commander Chig. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Living on, man. Living on.
Good.
Devo Looter, what's up?
Hooray, I'm here.
Hooray! Commander Dubs, hello. How are you?
You know what I'm doing. Slaving in the Tritium fields.
Just being somebody's Tritium slave?
My own fleet carrier slave. I did this to myself.
The big question is how you tricked yourself into that build. But anyway, Commander Lieutenant Commander Data, hi.
I'm doing well. Happy to be on the It Elite Dangerous podcast.
Yeah.
It's just it.
And it's just it. That's probably the title. Commander Nurgle, hi, welcome.
It is what it is.
That's better, right?
Yeah.
But it is. All right. Anyway, we'll see what else I write down.
That's a terrible title.
It's not great. I don't know. I feel like I started off strong.
That's a good title. It's not great.
That's the ticket.
Give it a 30 minutes before you settle on something.
Yeah, I'm sure we've got some entertainment coming.
I've got until this actually launches to change my mind, right? Yeah, and well, plus they're going to think that I'm talking about the fun new video we got to see today, and I don't know if I'm convinced it's not great. Videos, that's right, more than one. And okay, so that's what's up. I mean, it's in the world of Elite Dangerous. The thing is probably the last info we're going to get before the alpha begins on Monday, which is 3 days from now, considering today is almost over. So, shall we tackle things in our usual order?
Might as well.
We have an
might
order.
As well. Well, there is a note sheet that somehow gets assembled, however loosely, each week. So the first thing on the what?
I was just laughing. Sorry.
Oh.
Listeners, he beats us when we get out of line.
I never hear that sound usually, so it was a very confusing sound for me. Yeah.
All right.
First on the list is the Distance Cruise 2 expedition still going on. How many weeks left are there before it's set to wrap up?
I would have to look at EDSM,
it's more than a
but
month.
I can be there.
It's more than a month.
Oh, it's
more? You sure about
Is
that?
it more than 4? I thought it was less
yeah,
than. I thought it was like 3 weeks.
I thought the end date was the beginning of May.
The end date is, hold on, 4/26/33/07. So we have until, well, it is exactly
4 weeks.
1 month. 1 month from today.
one month. All right. Super. Well then, what's going on out there in the void?
You got plenty of time.
Yeah, those. Yeah, I mean, you guys are the ones that I talk to that are still out there.
Yeah,
so
I
exploring
think,
in the void.
I think the fun times are over. It's time to mine because we need about 15,000 tons of tritium to get back, and we came to this destination with under 1,000. So
wait a minute.
We're getting really good at the subsurface mining minigame.
Yes. We are. We have managed to accumulate 3,736 tons of tritium. As of right now, I'm looking at the carrier screen, and we need 5,000 to begin jumping this Sunday on our first leg because we're going to take 3 weeks to get back. We plan on ending 1 week early.
Do we need to organize a rescue?
Oh no, we don't need a rescue. I mean, unless you want to bring us tritium, it may not be worth it. We'll manage. It's just gonna be a little bit of mine and time.
Oh boy,
Somebody's
dog's
girlfriend
upset.
won't pipe down.
The dogs are losing their minds in the background right now.
I gotta say, I gotta tip my cap to you. The fact that you left in a fleet carrier all the way out to Colonia, basically, without plenty of gas for the trip.
Oh, we had
Yeah.
plenty. Well, I think I started the trip from Quama with 11,000 tons, but we've gone to Colonia, and then we came to the Void. I made a couple jumps around in there to find a spot that was dense enough for people not to get stranded, and then Roy convinced me to go to the most western star, Erickson star. So that's where we were, and that's what used up almost the last bit of it.
Was that worth it though?
It was totally worth it, 100%.
Okay, I just want to clarify something. Though there's still like 6 weeks on this expedition, not a month.
What?
It's May 15th is when this thing
Perfect,
is
because
over.
they have a lot of mining to do.
Wait, is it May? Oh.
May 15th. So there's
No. It is currently 3/25. It ends on 4/26. That is 1 month and 1 day.
What are you looking at?
I'm
I'm on
looking at
ADSM.
Yeah, I clicked on the little magnifying glass on the right-hand side of Quama, the last waypoint, and it says 4/26/3307.
Okay, but I'm going by starting date and arrival date. It's
okay. So the note.
So-
So he might have adjusted it based because I think this is a hand typed note in here.
Yeah.
And then he may have adjusted the
Okay.
actual end date at some point.
Okay.
It just wasn't updated.
So
in
what's on the
text.
main page is that's when EDSM will stop
okay,
counting.
okay,
So-
yeah.
So
I
right
think he
now,
might have-
there's 116 participants. 29 have succeeded so far. The final date that you can get back to get, success on this, you got to be back to Comma by May 15th. I'm just curious. 66 people have died. That's a lot of deaths.
I was one of them.
That's got to be some suicides, right? Well, actually,
there's
with carriers now, that
Been
doesn't.
11 self-destructed.
Dang.
There were some
Yeah.
shenanigans at the westernmost point in SRVs. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it
Actually-
was Data that got freaking tennis racketed by my anaconda.
Yeah, you swatted me out of the air. I just exploded instantly.
I just realized that 3 of those deaths were Lark Shadow because I blew him up 3 times. we had our battle in Colonia, the Viper 4 Exploration Edition versus the Cobra 3 Exploration Edition, and then we just bought Eagles at Jacques and just outfitted them with whatever was there and did some dueling that way too. Yeah. Okay. So I contributed to those deaths
Okay.
in my own small way. Cool. Sounds good. And I have been enjoying the screenshots. Did anybody get video and stuff of the meetups?
There were some screenshots about the meetup at Erickson.
Tessnic took some video, I think.
Okay.
Of it.
Sure,
Yeah,
super.
Void Gang represent. Gotta get that
Should
out.
Right.
mention too, Rabbi Bob had sent out gifts to a lot of people that brought out their carriers and
Yes.
other people, and the gifts are starting to arrive at people's places. It has not been revealed on the Discord yet what those are, but those who have received them know what they are. So we'll talk about them once the big secret is
I think he's
revealed.
waiting on Jello Wiggler to
Because
receive
it's a
his.
surprise
But
to
just-
Jello.
A big thank you to Rabbi for doing that.
He's good people. I have known him for a long time. It goes back to the very first gaming crew that I was ever a part of way back in Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike days. So anyway, good people, big thanks. I can't wait for everybody to find out what that was and for Jello most of all to see that. So real excited. Super. Let's go ahead and move on and do some squadron update, shall we then?
Incoming priority message.
Squadron briefing.
So we still have a squadron.
Hooray.
Moving on.
No, we
On to the week's Galnet.
on to the week's Galnet. We recently expanded, missed our target. I went back and looked at the factions involved. We missed by 0.6 of a percentage point.
Oh.
That aches.
It does. And I keep thinking, there were a couple of nights when okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm not running any more missions. And if I had run one more, or if anybody had run one more, maybe that would have been enough. So you can't second guess like that, but
No.
well, you can, but you don't get anywhere with it. Yeah.
It's no way to live.
You
It's no way to
lazy
live.
bastards.
Who else can we blame that's not Nurgle?
Chig. Chig.
I know Hate's not here to defend himself.
When in doubt, it's Chig's fault.
Right, I've done more BGS in the last 2 weeks than I did in the 4 months before that, so it's not my fault.
So you're admitting that it's all your fault that we're in this predicament.
Yeah.
It's weird because he said the exact opposite of that, but I can see your point.
Yep.
I know.
If I'd have done
I get
some
it.
work those previous 4 months, we wouldn't have been in the position to need that 0.6% at this juncture.
See? So we agree it's all Chig's fault.
Yeah, how many percentage do you think we lost to CQC when Chig just messing around in there, not doing
Hey,
his
now
job?
I'm working on keeping our squadrons ranking up in CQC. I keep us in the top 15.
This is true. This is true. Can't
That's
knock
a
him
cool,
too hard.
unique thing for sure. Can't give him a hard time for that.
So because we did not expand to where we were planning on expanding, which obviously means we went somewhere we weren't planning on, we are now in the unique position of fighting against ourselves in a war for, I think, the first time ever, because we landed someplace we don't want to stay. So that's a unique position to be in.
Bro, I can't do that.
So
To be a double agent, I can't roleplay that.
I'm not even double agenting. I'm just upright fighting for the other guys in the combat zones.
You're like sending messages in system chat, like, right next to the show them what we're made of sort of heroic messages. And you're there like, fly to another system, take a vacation.
And the sad thing is I was running some CZs before we recorded tonight. So I drop into this CZ, and of course, I pick the other side, and I'm just, flipping around looking for my first target. And the first 3 ships I went across were Anaconda, Python. Like, really? You're going to stick me fighting 2 Anacondas and a Python?
I really thought you were going to say it was player who screws faction guys that don't know what we're supposed to do.
But since you mentioned that, we had some other stuff going on, elections, a war, and some other stuff going on in other systems. And we found out this week that there are some Federation factions out there. And want to be clear, they're player factions. Well, they are a player squadron. They do not have a faction. They run around. They support Federation factions. They're role playing this Federation thing. That's great. Fully support that. Play the game you want to play. However, they're playing in solo, and their mission in life is to fight against non-Federation factions everywhere. So it's kind of hard to counter them. And we had that opposition in one of the wars we had. We managed to get everybody in there and come back from being behind and win that. We're currently helping one of our neighbor factions who is fighting some stiff resistance from these guys in solo. That war is currently 3-2 in our favor. Looks like we can win tonight and finish that off, hopefully. But that's a conversation that we probably want to have on the show at a later date about.
I don't understand playing in solo. If you're going to run a faction, isn't half the fun hoping to run into people who fight for that faction?
And I know I have been the person on this show who has talked forever about consensual PvP, but I have, I think, always been
better place
consistent.
than a conflict zone.
Conflict zones are consensual PvP. When you go into them, you are by default accepting the consequences of your actions. You should not be able to go into conflict zones in solo. Right. I mean, you have made the choice to go and shoot at other people. You should not be able to do that. So,
not only that, you shouldn't be scared because, if you stumble on somebody in a combat zone, it's not like they're going to be in their PvP builds unless they're really dangerous. They're probably running in their Corvette or something. You know what I mean?
I for real don't fight conflict zones in anything that I wouldn't fight a player in.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Maximum.
But
murder.
that maybe that is a broader discussion we have. Yeah. Maximum murder. So maybe that is a discussion we have at a later date on the show to really talk about that, because I think that is something that we probably need to explore the depths on. But
but you'll agree though that if you go to a combat zone, you're going to run into sort of the typical ships, the Anacondas and the Corvettes.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think anybody was arguing that the combat zone isn't okay to shoot anybody in. Right.
It absolutely should be.
That's the point you're making, right?
Yeah. The combat, entering a combat zone should be consensual PvP, but I digress. So, like I said, we're currently helping, our neighbor faction fight off, and try to win this war, and we're trying to consolidate a couple of our own systems. We've got a fresh set of orders up with some details on that. There are literally, if at this point in time, no matter what your chosen mode of gameplay is, there is something there you can do that will also help the BGS. Because we've got a lot going on. And again, anybody who has questions about, how specifically they can help, or they don't understand the BGS and they have questions, put a question up in the Discord, come into chat when we're all there. Haight and I especially geek out on this stuff. We'd love to talk to you about it.
Yeah, that was in Discord last night. We were actually sitting there. I don't remember who it was. Who was that? The new Red Volt guy, who I thought was like a friend of Volt's, but no, this is just another Volt.
Evil Volt.
Evil Volt. Yeah.
Evil Volt. Yeah. He's a friend of a different community member. Yeah.
And that's last night. He was just asking, some random, some newer player type questions and going along. Then all of a sudden it's like we mentioned BGS without realizing how new he was. And he goes, okay, what's the BGS? And then we started explaining that. He goes, oh, this is a bit of a rabbit hole, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah, it's some people are playing one game, other people are playing an entirely different game when it comes to Elite Dangerous. And that's why it kills me when people say that this game, is a mile wide and an inch deep, because there's is so many different things going on that you don't even know about. So
I imagine you'll see a little stall in progress once the alpha comes out too.
Oh, I would expect so. Yeah,
could be. Mm-hmm.
Especially,
I think that's going to be that's going to be my whole week.
Yeah, that's streaming. Yeah. I'm sure we'll talk about streams we'll be doing next week and stuff later on too.
Exactly. Well, thanks for the squad update. Yeah, that is a topic probably for another day when we have a little less other stuff to go over. But yeah, we'll get there. Next up, let's do the news. Devo's super rad Galnet recap.
You need a sounder.
I feel that needs an intro.
If this, I was just thinking like this is going to be a recurring segment, then we definitely we'll need to come up with something. Okay, don't have anything right now. Sorry. You want an E? I'll give you an E.
I wish Ty was. Ty could probably sing something off the cuff.
White Snake. Need some White Snake.
Yes.
Well, the funny thing is when I offered if you need help with the Galnet news, I guess I can read off that stuff. I didn't realize that some weeks it would be so pathetically boring that the idea of recapping it would be such a treat. Because this week, it was just NMLA over and over and over and over again. In fact, I'm going to lump all those sort of together and try to tear through this because I think we got a lot of fun things to talk about. So on Friday, there was a new Galactic Mysteries that involved the NMLA, and really the only thing to come out of it was, it was really just about how they came to be back in January with the Serene Harbor incident and the Theta Group breaking out with Imperial double agents, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Unless you guys got something out of it that I didn't.
No.
No, sir.
You got it, man.
On Monday, more NMLA news. The ACT gathers intelligence on NMLA using, and here's all that they've learned. They're using smaller bombs than in previous attacks, and they're communicating via dark comms.
The dark web.
Dun, dun, dun.
They are short on intelligence over there. On Tuesday, the Marlinists reject accusations of terrorist links. I don't need to go into that anymore.
Yeah.
And then this other story, I had to go deep into the dark web to get it because I needed more NMLA news. So the NMLA expressed sympathy for the 9 martyrs. And I'm going to read this article, at least pieces of it, because I don't know if you guys have read it. It says, since the bombing of 9 stations by the Neo-Marlinist Liberation Army, other groups who share the NMLA acronym have expressed sympathy in the press in an attempt to distance themselves from the terrorist organization. And there's some quotes here. Quote, bombs are bad, says the New Mexico Lottery Authority. Quote, our deepest sympathies to all who were affected by this terrible tragedy, unquote, says the Norwal Manatee and Lobster Association. And buckle up for this. The National Movement for Legendary Ass Play says, we would never do such a thing unless we had consent and the butt was involved.
Oh.
On Wednesday, there's been a new federal vice president has been selected. He's Jerome Archer, the former Secretary of Security, and according to the Galnet, is a real hard ass.
And we need to think about that for a moment, because the man they just promoted to vice president is the man in charge of security. How did the previous vice president die? A lapse in security.
Oops.
Yep. And not only if memory serves, because I don't have the actual article up in front of me, but like he was like the Federal Intelligence Agency head for a period of time. He was in law enforcement. So, and today on Thursday, medicines delivered for Starport bombing. So if you participated in that, go pick up your power plant, your shield generator, or your Type 6. Or if you're like me, you get all 3. And now you got to figure out what to do with a fucking Type 6.
Yeah.
I should hold a contest on the Discord. People, please post in the shipbuild section an idea for a Type 6. Don't tell me to sell it because it is free, and I don't think I'll get anything.
We already told him that.
Yeah.
Yes, what I asked.
Actually, the real thing is actually blow it up and tell us how much the rebuy is.
Oh, trust me,
that's what we really want to know.
That is the first thing I'll be doing is going, what's the rebuy?
You could just look at the right-hand panel. Yeah, I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah, it did not
escape as fun
me.
as blowing it up. But
more dark web news. Archon Delaine threatens war with the Pilots Federation. You guys probably don't know this one either, so I'm going to read part of the article. With the Pilots Federation's flight training simulation software to be updated in the coming days, there are a few copies of the update expected to be given away for free. Unfortunately, one person who is not happy with the Independent Federation is the leader of the Kumo crew and self-professed pirate king Archon Delaine. Delaine, who was recently referred to by Aisling Duvall as a mentally handicapped Dracula, requested a free copy. requested a free copy from the Pilots Federation, only to be turned down for being a B word. In a letter to Delaine, the Pilots Federation claimed, "We would give you a copy if we felt like it." Turns out he's going to have to pay 40 space bucks like the rest of us. And finally, last news, the ACT requests help for finding missing agent. Captain Neum Sutonia, who is one of the joint leaders of the ACT, has gone missing and was set to go to the Marlinist colonies to meet with somebody or other. But he left Madrid, not the English Madrid. M-U-D-H-R-I-D.
Madrid.
Madrid.
He left on March 24th toward the Marlinist colonies, but never arrived. He was traveling in an Anaconda named the Valkyrie. Go out there and find it. For God's sakes, his family misses him. And that's the news.
It's the hardest hitting journalism since one Galaxy News Network.
To find the stories that no one else
Oh my God.
finds.
As soon as you said other organizations that share the same acronym, I turned off my mic because I started laughing so hard. Well, you said NMLA so many times before you got started. I was working on other acronyms for it before you did that. So I'm like, oh my God, what's he gonna do? So yeah, my mic was off.
I would love to hear.
Good stuff, sir.
I would love to hear other acronyms because I made a litany this week preparing for this stupid shit. Because the beginning of the week, it was like 4 NMLA stories. I was like, good grief, I've heard enough of this stupid stuff.
I just changed Chig chat this week.
Name the NMLA.
come to Discord and give us in Chig chat as many acronyms as you could come up with for NMLA. Oh my God.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. That's genius.
Magnificent. A couple of sneak attacks in there.
The vampire thing. Yes, very nice.
Oh, yeah, I should say that is a lighthearted jab and no one should take it seriously.
I don't think anybody will.
Anybody who takes this seriously is doing it wrong.
Yeah, I know, right? Good God.
That is for sure. Well, thanks ever so much for that.
Hooray.
Yeah. Okay. So to get down to
you did it again.
What did I do?
He started a cheer. Ready?
Very well.
I don't know why you're so discouraged by these segues. I find them hysterical.
Okay, well, good.
Okay.
That sounds
fine. Meanwhile, back at the farm.
I'm going to give up. Yeah. Okay. All right. Stop. I can't. Somebody else is going to have to take it. Okay, so we got today in our lovely Twitch news stream that included Twitch drops, which weren't purple. There was a station walkthrough video and an interview. Somebody talk about it while I regather my thoughts.
Who all watched it? Everybody watched it, I assume?
I did watch.
Arthur and the other guy, Bruce, sat down and showed essentially a preview of walking through just a generic one of what is supposedly many stations where they went up and down some stairs and around some corners and walked into a couple of shops and talked with a few people.
They rode an elevator too.
They rode, the old turbo shaft to get to the, what would you call that? The flight deck.
Yeah, and it looked like it was confirmed that
the hangar
on the ship you walk into the blue halo thing underneath, which was kind of disappointing.
They showcased, it sucks, but I also heard them say.
What I would say is this: I watched it and I appreciate the amount of work they've put into making it what it is.
A lot of work.
But I just kept having this vibe that it was Cyberpunk 3307. You know, you're walking through a bunch of people wearing futuristic looking clothing. Everybody, has their different kind of gestures and postures, and everybody's kind of doing their individual looks. So, I mean, it was impressive, what it wasn't sure, how much space there was actually going to be, didn't know if you were just going to be like sitting in the bar and then there's a bathroom over there, that you literally are walking through a large chunk of station and a lot of people standing around and people with their little remarks. I hope that it's not the same, 10 different things that NPCs say, so you get sick of it super fast.
Well, I mean, that's what it is in every game ever. So
I know, exactly. But that was my biggest fear, with putting a first-person shooter onto this game, is it was just going to be another, I paid $60 for Cyberpunk. I've played it 3 hours, and I don't know if I'll ever pick it up again.
Well, I mean, look, you don't have to go into the station and do anything. You can walk right up to a kiosk and just jump by that entire process. I think it's for the people who want the immersion of those dead eyes staring back at you to go up to other NPCs and ask them what's up.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, to jump in at that, actually, the interaction with the NPC, it may be unique. So from what we're seeing, there's this extra step, like he barters with the bartender to exchange some items for another. So a little bit more like material trader-ish. But then the other guy has sort of a, you can haggle with your rewards for a mission, which we could never do on a regular mission board. And it has a little bit of like risk versus reward. Like you might piss the guy off and fail, which made me think of like Fallout New Vegas, or whichever Fallout had that, or Oblivion before it.
All right, and this is all based on kind of your reputation, how far you can kind of push it, or whether you're up with the faction who owns the station or whatever. So yeah, you can push it, and it might give you an extra reason to actually get out of your ship or walk away from the kiosk.
It looks like there's a dice roll in there, influenced by your rep, of course, but it says like how risky something is. It doesn't say you definitely fail. So I think there has to be some a little bit of dice roll based on that, which I think is fun. Yeah. You could get a better reward for a mission. That's one of those answers to the question, where is the gameplay, right? This is like but if we could walk in my ship, like where's the gameplay in that? And it's like, that's one of those things that we didn't know about yet that leapt out to me.
I loved it. I thought that this particular kind of gameplay would slow down my progress immensely, because instead of making millions upon millions and millions and millions, and in order to be immersive, I will get out and start blabbing with people and picking up missions that probably pay less than whatever makes you the most money, and then going out and doing it and coming. You're not going to make as much.
Back to the bartender interaction, man, that is all new stuff in that.
Oh yeah,
that bartering, new categories, new materials, if that's what they call them.
Chemicals.
Yep.
Chemicals, circuits, and tech. They got 3 categories in there, and
I guarantee you, those are engineering materials for suits.
Yep.
Or
suits and weapons.
Yeah,
it's kind of confusing which way he was trading in the video. It was kind of confusing, but there's a barter cost, and then
it looked like he was trading one material for the same material.
Yeah.
So maybe he was just for the sake of showing us the interface.
One part of that is my daughter, is just now getting into the game a little bit more, and she watched that stream today.
Not according to her.
I came home for lunch and watched that stream, and then she's like, I'm just learning how to play it. That's a whole nother game I'm going to have to learn. And I said, well, maybe you should just start on the ground maybe and do that. And I said, but wait a minute, that would mean I'd have to buy you a copy. Not yet. Learn the space stuff and then
to buy her an alpha.
Yeah.
It seems like the logical progression is to actually start on foot.
Definitely.
And they actually talked about that at the end of the stream, about how first-person shooters are more intuitive to a lot of people, and that maybe the easiest way for new players to start is to start without having to worry about the whole space thing, and start on foot and build their way into it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden realizing flying a ship is really hard, and it's a whole new skill you got to learn how to do to really have your career take off. Yeah, I agree.
Here's a question that I don't think was asked or answered, but the taxi service, apparently you could take a taxi to anywhere, a station, but and you got to go in real time. Can that taxi be interdicted?
Oh, I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Yeah, that was the second video. They actually that was
but
their
then
big
you don't
reveal.
pay.
Yeah.
You just die.
Yeah.
Right, and so the is
Or
it
maybe they don't-
Gamesradar? Is that how we say that?
Gamesradar,
Yeah.
Gamesradar. I wasn't sure what that was going to be. I guess it's just this short video. It's sort of like a
trailer.
It's a trailer. It's like a half a what they were calling a dev diary.
Showcase for
but that launched
games.
Okay. So this is what Gamesradar does. I hadn't heard of this before them, so I'm just not in on it. But anyway, so I guess this came out kind of just before we started recording. I just watched it, but it does add another element, and it made me think these stations do seem to look the same, right?
Well, and I think they mentioned something about that basically there were a couple of designs based on station, and I'm going to assume that that's based on like the different style of stations. Each has a different style concourse, but that they said that the individual areas are going to be similar enough that you don't have to wander around looking for where you're going.
Right.
I'm going to be interested to see.
Perhaps like an Orbis versus a Coriolis are going to have some differences, but generalized layouts are the same.
And that would probably be easiest for them to implement too, to keep it down to just a couple of different footprints, and you don't even have to randomize at that point. It's based on the style of the station, and that's fairly easy to implement, fairly easy for people to navigate. Gives you a little bit of variation. So
I figured all those big ones that they're not going to be too different, but I'd be very interested in seeing the Hutton orbitals.
Yeah,
those smaller stations.
Yeah, and that was a big Coriolis station. So I wonder how different the one in Outpost is going to be.
Well, the real question is there going to be a difference in even the way that you walk? Because also you're going to be mag booting it and stuff.
Should there be? Yes. Will there be? No.
Yeah. Well, I'm just throwing it out there. What I would like to see,
They should have that space diner from Spaceballs on those.
Absolutely. You have to run a mission to a planet to meet yogurt for sure.
It's got a mind of its own. Sorry.
Change my order to the soup.
So speaking of the bar, 800 songs are in the code to be played in the bar, so we won't be hearing just the same 4 songs over and over again. To hail back to a previous comment, the talk about that seemed less about, hey, that's really nice that they went to that great length, and more about, now, for some reason, that meaning that there's copyright issues. So the videos that were out, Obsidian Ant mentions this. Somebody else mentions it as well.
For Twitch streamers,
quote unquote, needing to mute the audio for fear of a copyright thing. Now, I came away from it thinking that Obsidian was saying he wasn't sure and just muted it in his video anyway. But this isn't. This is music created for the game.
It's not right.
We're using the term music pretty loosely.
It's not popular music that's going to get a DMCA. This is not a DMCA thing, which is sort of what everybody's thinking.
We don't really know, do we? Because I
think what you're going to get is a lot of arpeggiated synthesizer background music and sort of generic. And not to take the piss out of them, but sort of generic trap and house, dance music, depending on where you're walking by. You're not going to hear, some pop song blowing out of one of the speakers.
Right. No. And just to make it clear that I'm not criticizing content creators for thinking they might need to mute the sound, they're doing that because one of others, the launch trailer, the announcement trailer, actually, they had a bunch of DMCAs happened. Of course, that had a Bowie song in it.
Right. That one's a little obvious.
there could be a YouTube algorithm because Frontier uploaded this video to their YouTube channel. Like they own it. So anyone who's using it in their material and included the audio, I could see a bot figuring that out and pinging them, even though really it should be fair use. That's the trouble with these bots, but it's not a DMCA thing. No, not a chance in the world. I don't think that's a risk.
There's no record label that's going to come after anybody.
Right.
Well, with it being 800 songs, I mean, that's a lot of songs.
And not just
that's where I was curious if they, maybe licensed something from some different artists who had, not future sounding, not really, but, just some of that stuff I think is going to be mixed in there too. But they, should have the rights to it. But then again, it's I hate to take a shot at FDev, but it's FDev, like when they did the trailer and they got, streamers in trouble with the David Bowie thing, I could see them, it never crossed their mind. And they do have some stuff in there that's, they got the license to put in the game, but, a gamer, I don't know the laws from if it's okay in the game, if then that means it's okay on your individual stream, because that artist may have signed, you can use this in your game and got paid some money, but then it's not free for everybody. So I would have probably silenced it too, especially with a following as big as it's Obsidian Ant.
I wouldn't think that it could be okay if it was a real song, because wasn't that an issue with Cyberpunk? They have a streamer mode you can activate that disables licensed music.
But does that song does that game have licensed music in it though, instead of created for the game music?
Yeah, it has like Run
that's
the
the distinction I'm trying to draw.
Yeah, and that's what I'm curious, and they didn't make that clear, so
I think it's just going to be a lot of generic background music that'll be have varying levels of reverb and.
They had one guy with a synthesizer hitting different buttons, like Ross from Friends back in the day.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not too far off. I got a bunch of synths around here, and you could just, it's kind of easy to make.
Is that what you're trying to? You're trying to hint around here.
You got a sample for us?
That's right. I busted out my Korg and provided the entire background music.
Well, I heard
did it in an afternoon.
I heard the No Music Legal Association piped in and said that
bombs are not good.
That's Lars Ulrich's company, right?
Yeah. For sure.
His new venture.
Sure. Yes. Once they killed Napster, he started that organization for sure.
I mean, so at the same time,
my work is done. What is my next project?
And Chig is going to get censored by the Not More Legal Advice Association.
It only took you 20 minutes.
No more lame asses.
So, I mean, I forgot completely what we were even talking about.
Derailed.
We were on the music thing. But I just find it interesting. I mean, 800 songs. I mean, even if they're just each song is 1 minute, that's 800 minutes of songs. That's insane.
Well, here's the question: Do any of these streamers kill? I mean, do any of them not kill the sort of generic music? I use that term lovingly. That's already just in the game.
I have not watched all this.
Good question.
No idea.
Right. I mean, I have mine turned off just because I don't need it. But there's bound to be somebody out there who left it on.
Now, Dubs is the local music expert. What do you think about this, Dubs?
I know nothing about music, but I do leave my in-game music on because I'm not an animal.
Well, if worse comes to worse and there's a bunch of Beastie Boys songs that are playing in the bar every time you go in there, like
God, I hope so.
We'll just have to not land.
I mean, I only stream to Discord, so unless Discord's going to filter it and yell at me, I'm not going to care.
Microsoft is going to buy Discord soon, so you'll probably be in trouble for that.
They're trying.
That happens.
Is that the word?
Well, then, if that's the case, when I go to stream, I'll just open up that little window and I'll just slide the music thing down and be done with it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What did I say? $1,000,000?
Yeah,
billion makes more sense.
Billion, yeah. Okay, so I stream with Elite's music on. That's the game music. It's
why
not
didn't you pipe
music.
up when I just asked that question?
I didn't think for a million.
That.
I did.
He did say that.
Yeah, but the point is that the Twitch streaming police didn't come after you for turn off that abbreviated synthesizer.
It's not pop music. That's exactly what I'm saying. The DMCA is about stuff that you can buy in Apple Music. It's not about game music.
Oh, so
and
this is
some games have. This is nothing.
Yeah,
this is nothing.
I brought this up as like.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I did not think this was going to be a big discussion. I brought this up because a couple of people had mentioned it in Discord, and I wanted to make it clear that, like, I not that I understand everything about it, but like, I understand some aspects of the music industry, and the DMCA doesn't mean like there's a sound that's owned by someone else.
I think I understand it now. It's 800 songs in the bar.
They're
songs,
all by Prince.
No, it's songs for when you're on hold when you call a 1-800 number. It's that kind of music. So,
well, there's
penalty box.
Muzak is what that generally is. Although that is I forget the word for this. The word for when a brand becomes synonymous with the product type, like Kleenex.
Oh, yes, like there's public domain style.
There's a word for it. I forget what it is. I would be way cooler if I remembered it, especially because of the vocabulary that was being thrown around between Chig and myself yesterday. However,
I should know
too. I have no idea what I was talking about. This is like the most. This is the most flummoxed I've ever been on a podcast in at least 7 years.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, is that the word? Okay, I'm going to segue to. I'm not bothered by. I think they tried to explain the fact of why you have to transition into your ship because these ships are so huge and going up and down, 5 flights of steps every time you want to get in and out. It'd be great if you could go up and down the steps to get into the ship, but I'm okay with it not being that.
You think the reason is because it would be onerous for gameplay?
Well, that's what their explanation, and the girl in the stream, who was
the producers.
one of the.
Oh, I must have missed that part of the screen.
Yeah,
I believe that 0%.
Well, yeah, I believe it 0% too, but it's a perfectly fine excuse.
Yeah, it would have been so much better if you were at the hatch and you walked down. That way you could have that first step moment that they talked about.
Right.
I agree with that. I think the reason is sort of obviously because they didn't create the ship interiors.
Right.
Yeah, like
but
I don't know why they would even talk about that.
But even if there was, what is the cutter that has the big long, stairway. Even if you got to the top of that and there was that little blue marker that
that's what they should have done
into the ship.
Yeah,
I think even that explains her excuse fine. Going up and down.
Right, exactly. That would have made that a good excuse.
Well, I think it would push people to fly smaller ships if they're too lazy to walk up the stairs. So I still think they should have. You should always come out the door of the ship and be at the top of the stairs or the top of the ladder. And
I'm with you. I wish, for goodness sakes, that I could just walk in and down a hull and whatever else. But that was her explanation for it.
Yeah. So no. Once again, we've talked about this so many times, and I know my side has never been. I was never excited about first-person shooter, but I still don't believe I'm still super happy it's going to be in the game because it's just more gameplay, bring in more players.
It doesn't hurt anything.
Exactly. And I wish that they would have used dev development on atmospheric landings and stuff like that. Yes, but I love that this is in the game. I absolutely love it. How much I'm going to play it, we'll see.
Well, here's a big question. Where do they go from here? They got all the, considering everything that they have, the only thing I could think of for them to do anymore would be ship interiors at this point.
Well, exactly. It's just expanding the first person side of stuff for sure.
Or just expanding the experience they have in total. I can't think of any other thing that they would create.
Well, I think, full atmosphere, Earth-like type world planets and stuff, and Planet Zoo shit added, and all of that is the logical next step. But also,
they already have
water
the
worlds,
but you needed
like
this
that.
step first.
Exactly.
Didn't you?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
100%.
That seems like a tall order, man. I don't know if that will ever happen.
Well, they've already got a zoo game, so hey.
Yeah, but
Instead of
to
buying
have
expansion, you just buy the other game.
Yeah, to have a random generator that puts flora and fauna on these planets with the level of detail that this
would
game
be
requires.
enormous.
Yeah, I mean, No Man's Sky does it, but it's mostly generic. This game, it would be impossible.
I would have said it's impossible to create a 400 billion system, galaxy for us to fly around in. So I'm not going to say with procedural generation, I'm not going to say anything's impossible.
Well, fair enough.
So that would be my next hope. But honestly, just flying through rougher atmospheres with winds and storms and gas giants and all kinds of stuff like that, we discover new things, even if it's water worlds, going beneath the sea, whatever it is, there's all kind. It's a giant galaxy, and they're just expanding it out. And this was another step in that direction. So I'm excited by it. We'll see where it goes.
It'd be interesting to see what else they're going to create after this before they put the game to rest and work on a newer version of it on later hardware.
Give me a version of the SRV that is a submersible. So my ship can go and land, splash down on a water world. I can go out in the submersible and then leave that in a special environmental suit for underwater.
I love it.
Be awesome.
Yeah. Totally great.
Yep. Overall, I'm excited. It's more game, like Chig said, in the galaxy we all love. The biggest thing I hope they fix in Odyssey is, you notice when you step into the Turbolift to go down to your ship, to the hangar, you face away from the door like a madman while you ride the Turbolift. Can you imagine what you'd think of somebody if you saw them step into an elevator and face away from the door?
Let the door close to their back.
Yeah,
Blair Witch style.
Psychopath is what you are.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so on the video that went up on Gamesradar, the whoever took that video didn't do that. They went ahead and spun around while the thing moved, and then the door opened right in front of them.
Yeah, I wondered if it locks you into that, if it's just an animation after you step in there, because it's a loading screen.
I think it is.
I'm going to say I think it's not. I think the video that we saw on FDev's stream today was some kind of on-railsy thing. It was extremely smooth. It didn't look like mouse movement to me. It didn't. It was there was times when there was only horizontal movement, like it could have been controlled by a keyboard or something, just to make sure everything happened really smooth and nice. The other video was different. It felt much more like it was actually being steered by a person. So I think we're getting the impression that some of those things were like locked into place when they're really not.
That's good.
That's my impression anyway.
What
did you guys think of the mission board? So we talked about like the mission givers and being able to negotiate your rewards up and down and things like that. This is all very nice and fun and exciting. But I saw when he actually walked up to the terminal and looked at like a regular mission board, and the layout was totally different.
By
there was
category
there was
and
also
stuff. Super
right.
cool.
It was like it looked like it could have been filtered or categorized depending on how you wanted to view the missions, by mission giver, but also by like mission type or something like that. Like it seemed like the sort of interface that would lend itself to that better. And then I also see in a different section, I guess it was when they were looking at the taxi service, a layout that was a lot like the fleet carrier management screen with a row of icons on the left vertically and so on. What do we think?
I like to see improvements in the current mission boards where you're just literally scrolling a list and looking for the icon of the type of mission compared to what we saw today. I hope that that's the way that all mission boards, start looking, and that's the way we go. I like advancement. I also didn't he buy a dolphin, was it?
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
I was really bummed that he bought the dolphin, but then didn't go to outfitting next. I was really hoping, we could see if the outfitting screen. Well, yeah, the fact he didn't bother to outfit it at all. But I would have loved to have seen, if they changed the mission board, wouldn't it be awesome if the outfitting screen got some good tweaks too? Crossing my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it probably did.
Did anybody watch
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that back when the fleet carrier menu was different, and I was like, "Is this the way we're going? Is this the way we're going?" Mm-hmm. Maybe, because I see some inspiration from both aspects of that, right? Mm-hmm. Like the mission board at the terminal was a little bit more fleet carrier screen like, and then the taxi service was more fleet carrier management like. So I seeing design influence spreading there.
And there's no specific outfitting option on the terminal menu. Looks like you can just change your suit, your personal loadout.
So outfitting must remain inside the ship. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. It looks like.
Wow.
Well, that's sort of a bummer, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Wait to bring me down.
I don't know if that would would that really. Would I really want that at the end of the day? As long as you didn't lose the option to do it in the ship, I guess.
I'd like to be able to do that anywhere from inside the station.
I'm still waiting for ship loadouts.
You buy a ship and then you can't outfit it before you. That'd be like, going to your local Toyota dealership, picking out the Camry you want, then going and sitting in it, and then they're going to put in your new floor mats and in the undercoating and stuff. Just let me outfit my ship when I buy it. Then when I get to it, it's ready to go. I don't know. I'm just being bitchy now.
I agree. I think that would be cool. Like you're sitting down with the ship salesman, and they're but can I interest you in the A-rated sensors?
Exactly.
No, you moron. What kind of a chunk do you take me for? D-rated all day.
Yeah. What if they made the taking of cargo off of your ship done in real time instead of instantaneously to encourage you to leave?
No.
700 tons.
I've got 500 tons of void opals.
Well, we got Bob out there with a pallet jack.
I have a question. Did anybody listen to the conversation post that video? Because they mentioned the fact that there's a section of the station that they didn't go to. That I forget what the name of it is.
Right.
But what it is it's Frontier Services. Oh no, Frontline Services.
Frontline, right? Which is theoretically a way to go straight to battles. It keeps being theorized.
Exactly
is
standard
it CQC?
PvP.
Is it
no,
CQC or is it just a conflict zone?
It's conflict zones. It's conflict zones.
Yeah, there's the real-time active conflict zones that are in that system. They will take you via a generic dropship, which is, I also wonder if the taxi service takes you in a generic dropship. But it takes you in a generic
taxi.
Is it? So they take you in a generic dropship, you and a bunch of, I don't know, I assume NPCs and whoever else is part of your crew, and drop you right on the battlefield. And there's even some sort of either cutscene or animation to show you getting there.
Yeah, they described it as being exciting, right? Like they don't want to
just land in the ship
anymore.
Yeah,
they want to ride the dropship.
Yeah, they don't want to fly there directly. They want to take the taxi there or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess.
And they said there would be objectives.
Right, something a little more. Well, probably objectives in the sense that we have objectives now, right? Like enemy captain.
Well, didn't they say there was something like there was control points? Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty typical first-person shooter fare.
Yeah.
There's 3 control points on a map, and you got to go to A to C and blah blah.
When you get the objective to kill the correspondent, you find the guy running around with a typewriter trying to type out the news story to mail out. You're gonna shoot him before he can type it out.
Kill the camera crew.
But I mean, at least it's something. At least they put it's not just like you get dropped and it's like your side versus their side. There's more depth to it than that,
right?
With the control point. So that's good news.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how that plays out.
And that is definitely the thing that it was theorized to be a CQC-like situation, and nobody really knew for sure until today, I guess.
Well, what do you guys think about that? The alpha phasing that they're doing.
The phasing. Okay, let me get that image up.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. I wasn't sure the way it was going to be. I kind of thought it was when they said spreading, leaking the features out bit by bit. I was thinking certain types of missions at first. But this makes much more sense than what I thought from the testing perspective, because we're starting with just forcing everyone to be together in a very small area of space, and everyone's on foot. It's not even the regular game. That's
a hell of a stress test right there.
Yeah.
Right. Forcing, probably will be in split instances, right?
But that's still going to be a hell of a stress test.
It is, but they're going to force the interaction to test that, and there's not spaceships in it. You can't even buy ships. Everyone starts fresh. Very different than I was expecting, and makes much more sense. And then phase 2 opens up a 20 light year range. These graphics are very, very small, and I'm having trouble reading it without leaning away from my microphone. But they add some more things, some different suits you can buy, different weapons. This is focused on weapons and balancing. And then the third phase opens up to 50 light years, a bubble of 50 light years, and we get the exploration suits and a couple of other things, I guess. And we're focusing on the first step mechanics and the biology scanners and stuff like that. And then after that, between 3 and 4, there is a little gap. They take a snapshot of the actual world, and that's when it becomes like we've had previous betas before.
Yeah. Quick note,
a copy.
They mentioned that it'll be down for 2-3 days.
Yeah.
They said they didn't know how long, but there would be some downtime. So be prepared for that while they do their snapshot and migrate. And so
but they did allude to days.
The main game being down?
No,
the alpha?
No,
not the main game.
Gap in the alpha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
They cover themselves, phases maybe extended together, more player data. So it's really open ended how long this.
And they said in the stream that under ideal conditions, each phase would run about a week, but it's dependent upon them meeting the goals for that phase, and it's going to take the time it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
right.
They were also very clear up front that this is an alpha. There are some things, the only way to test it is to put it out there, let a whole bunch of people come in and break it. Because, 10,000 people in an alpha are going to be able to just find things that 30 guys in a testing studio will never find. And I'm glad that they put all that out front. We all know that there's going to be a certain segment of the player base that is going to get salty over the damnedest things, expecting a completely finished product. Yeah. There's a certain segment of the population that's going to pull an Archon Delaine and get salty over the first alpha crash, literally unplayable. We'll just have to deal with those guys.
I can't wait for phase 25 consoles.
Oh boy.
We'll stream it to Discord, and it can be like, you're the little brother, or we give you the controller that's not plugged in. You can actually be playing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'd be cute.
I'll tell you right now, my plan is Monday night. I'm planning on trying to play this for like 3 hours, from like 6 to 9. I'm going to stream on Twitch, and I'm really hoping Dubs. I'm really hoping Dubs.
Nice.
Dubs hops on. Very nice, right?
Dubs is going to hop on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're gonna see how much shit we can break. How hard it is. How hard it is to get the station security to kill us. How hard it is to get launched in the air. How hard just.
We are putting Dubs in a suit in orbit.
I'm hopping on just to absolutely F around. Look at the new stuff, but see what kind of mischief I can get in.
Can you jump?
Yeah, and with a jetpack too. So you have like
okay. So here's my next question, and I'm giving you guys tips on how to break something.
Nice.
Player A who owns a ship, and player B who is in the multi-crew. Player A gets on the ship, but player E jumps on top, and then player A takes off.
Oh, we have plans.
Oh yeah, we already planned on doing that.
That's plan number one. Except we don't have ships for phase one. So phase one is going to be more.
Do the old Teen Wolf gimmick where you surf
on top of the van, on top of an SRV. Absolutely.
Who gets to be Styles?
Julia Styles?
Styles, the guy driving the van. Jeez.
I know. I don't remember the name. All I remember from Teen Wolf is the dude with his dick out at the end of the movie.
It's his thumb.
It's the only thing you want to remember, isn't it?
All right.
Okay,
then.
That's an odd thing to remember, but okay.
All right, moving on.
Quickly.
But yeah, that's the plan for me.
My plan is basically similar. I think I'm gonna go on Tuesday. I'll pick up right where you left off. We'll continue trying to break things on Twitch, and yeah, I figured who knows what. I think I'm predicting that we don't have massive server messes. I'm going to put my money down. Say I think it's going to be all right. I think it's going to run on Monday. What do you think?
Well, the background plan for Twitch is I'm going to make everybody play CQC with me if the servers are down. So,
or we take our shiny T6s, outfit them, and fight each other.
I don't have a T6.
I think
I don't have one of those.
Buy one. They're so cheap.
Yeah, mine's really cheap.
I told you, I'm getting low on credit.
On Monday, I think base stability will be fine. You will inevitably be crashes when people do weird shit like, I bought a Dolphin and I have trying to put a 4-man crew on it. And it just says no and can't handle it. Or, there's 4 guys in the lounge, 2 guys in shipbuilding, and somebody tried to fire a weapon in the toilet. That type of stuff that no one in a sane mind would ever think to test. You're going to put 10,000 people in and they're going to do weird stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping for stability because of the way they're doing it, because we're just going to be in a single system. It's not tying so many things together. But then again, I don't know. We might not be able to even log on.
Hey, go to Shinorda Desra now. That place goes haywire if it's a Friday night.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
and think about phase one.
Sure.
Phase one is going to be in there's going to be thousands of players in a, what did they say, like either 1-star system or within 20 light years of each other. So there's only going to be a certain number of systems. Those places are going to be crowded.
Yeah, the first night is one system, so that's going to be.
Woo! And they said it was a big system with like 16 bodies or something.
Well, that's what makes me wonder: are they going to be putting us into different? When you're logging on into different starports within that system, or is it all going to be everybody in the same starport right away?
Starts in the same place.
Yeah, that'll be what I'm curious about. Like I remember WoW launches back in the day where everybody's popping in the same freaking place, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Every MMO back then, it was very unnerving to be in a room with 1,000 people.
Yeah, it was nuts, absolute nuts. So I don't know. I'm
at least in this game, they can't dress like assholes.
Well,
we'll see.
Look like
give it time. To me. Give it time.
The purple-haired mafia will not be shut down by Odyssey.
Yeah, will their name float above their head because you're going to get a lot of,
I'm sure.
Butthole Steve 69s and stuff.
I did notice that instead of like an exclamation point or question mark, they had some other goofy little symbol, but they still had something floating near them. The NPCs you could
it was like a circle.
Yeah.
It said mission giver. Yeah. I saw that. The audio, just in general, and I guess this is me, right? But this is the first thing that leapt out. Like I turned on the stream and it was like I don't know, 30 or 40 seconds of it had already run of the video. And so I popped on like kind of just as they're getting to the first NPC. And right there, I was like, oh, here we are with the great audio recording and the voice acting and everything. I hope that this is all of the delay was spent recording great audio and just taking forever with it.
Yeah.
Because it seems like that. It seems like they've done a really great job. As always, full expectations.
And making 800 songs. Lots of sound stuff going on.
Lots of songs.
It is.
Okay.
I'm excited
my
for
topic
it.
was a dud.
I watched it on my phone, so I can't say too much about the audio.
You should come over to my you should come over to my studio, because that first NPC's voice is quite sonorous on great big high efficiency monitor speakers.
Was that the burr looking motherfucker? The bald guy with the beard?
Yeah.
I have some more. Oh no, that was the second guy that was like, I have some like morally questionable stuff that I want you to do. Now I wouldn't touch any of this with my hands.
Yeah.
You want to make 20 credits the hard way?
Yeah. And then the big finish. Don't come back if you fail. Like, good grief, guy.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. I can't wait to get in Odyssey, play a bit to where I've unlocked like all the gnarly plasma guns with all the upgrades and stuff. And then this guy threatens me. You know, I'm like, this happens with NPCs all the time. You know, I'm going to burn you up. One volley from the plasma accelerator.
I hate to break it to you. No plasma weapons in the alpha.
I know. Oh, I could wait. I'll still be alive.
Did they say in previous...
That's all right. Oops, all multi-cannons.
Did they say in previous things that you could open fire in there?
No.
They specifically said that you can't.
Okay.
But I still think it's funny when NPCs threaten me like they're big and tough. And
I could have been a hero like you if I was a giant pussy. Shazam! Take that.
Shazam!
Oh, man.
For shizzle.
Yeah, there we go.
Good segue.
Yeah, nice job.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
is that? Oh, wait. I have another. There's another thing on the show notes. Hold on.
I see that. Yeah.
Let me scroll. So, a question was sent to us by Tessnic in the Discord, and he put this in the show feedback channel, which is an awfully great use of the show feedback channel. So great job. Tessnic asks, potential discussion topic for tonight's podcast: what things do we want to test out since Odyssey Alpha, when Odyssey Alpha becomes available? For me, it's how the death mechanics will work for physical multi-crew. We know how it will work with single player, but know nothing about physical multi-crew. Those same mechanics applied to physical multi-crew present many problems that have the potential to be quite punishing. I have some interesting ideas of how it could work, but I'm curious of what you guys think. Now, we did talk about the things that we plan to test a bit, but specifically about the death mechanic. So do correct me. I was under the impression we knew exactly what was going to happen in physical multi-crew, and that is if you did not come to that place on a ship that you own, you will respawn at the nearest friendly station.
I think that is correct.
That's what I would think, yeah.
So even if your buddy brought you
you'll
there,
appear at a station. If you own a ship, then you have the option to go to a station or on your ship. If your ship was docked on the planet, you'll appear in your ship in orbit. And if you don't have a ship, you'll be at a station. And so physical multi-crew, meaning you went there on someone else's ship, that means you don't have a ship. So you appear at a different station and you're taking a taxi back to where your ship is. I think that is answered, actually. But
based on the answers I remember, that's what I would think as well. Okay. I don't know if they specifically said multi-crew, but based on what they said, how it works for
when you die.
Right.
Yeah,
I would extend those options.
Yes. Yeah, I would extend that to the multi-crew.
Want to know what I'll be testing during the alpha? My patience.
See, I wish that they would have gone with something else where you now that we're going to be on the ground, like a spawn point. So you could like, if the ship you come in on, that could be your spawn point, if you're on your friend's ship, or if there's a station nearby, not like putting down a bedroll or something, but a med lab. Like it could have been a module in your ship that you put in a med lab, then you can spawn in your ship. Otherwise you're spawning back at the last station you were at, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a med. Yeah, it's got to spawn in a med lab would be my preference.
I'd like to see Drew Wagar do a story-based stream where he attempts to hitchhike from here to Colonia.
Oh God!
And just report all the terrible things that happens.
So I was hoping it would be real time. When you take a taxi, are you sitting?
Yes.
Are you just sitting in the taxi for the amount of time?
I think you're sitting in the multi-crew seat. Yeah.
Yes. Nice. I was hoping it would be like that.
Yeah.
So here's a question, actually, which I guess I'll get to test pretty soon. When I am doing that, if I choose to play in VR, because that's the other thing, like because VR is going to be a flat screen floating in front of you for all the on foot, that means at least for the beginning of this alpha, there's going to be nothing in actual 3D in the VR version of the game for a while until it gets rolled out. So if I go to play in VR and take a taxi, and when I get into a ship, will it become? It should, right? It should become regular VR. Yeah. So then I can ride and walk around the deck and stuff.
I don't know.
In theory.
It's not your ship.
Right, well, that'll be the first thing I test then. But it's not my ship. If we're saying that we ride in the multi-crew seat, which I think is correct, then that part of the game is rendered in VR. It would be more work for them to take it away.
That's right, because is it a hauler or an adder that the guy walks up to in the Gamesradar?
In the second video, it's a adder.
Yeah, so I keep thinking or assuming without thinking about it that it's some sort of different bus that you're getting.
An adder.
It's just a regular ship. So yeah.
What Dubs?
So adders, why are they using AX ships for taxis?
Adder crew forever. What Adder Squad? I can't remember
Adder
what our
Squad.
name is.
The
Adder Death Squad.
The
Adder nerds.
Yep. Cyclops is everywhere. Fear our might.
The ads. Adder Death Squad.
Yep.
Just Cyclops. The other ones laugh.
The other ones just run away. They just stand a little bit far back and giggle.
In space, no one can hear the Thargoids laugh.
What a strange
and yet we can
choice.
hear them, can't we?
Yes, we can.
For something like this Gamesradar show where you're trying to attract like a general audience to your game, isn't it kind of a strange choice of video to show you walking up to a taxi cab?
I know.
And getting in to
taxi cab simulator. What the
try
hell?
to try to attract a general audience to your game.
Yeah.
I loved it. So like, what's your normal?
I don't know that this.
Think.
I don't know.
Cash cab in space. I don't know.
fake taxi.
It's I found it really weird too. I thought that they were going to show something like a quick glimpse of the plant gun or something going on, and then then their new thing we haven't got to see yet was walking up to the desk of a travel agent and then walking to your taxi. I was like, really? This is what they decided to show? It was kind of a womp womp moment.
Thrilling gameplay.
Yeah. I did like the games game. I was going to say GameStop games. What's it called? Gamesradar stream.
Gamesradar.
I added like 4 games to my wish list on Steam as I was waiting for that Odyssey stuff to come, because there were a lot of cool looking games coming out. So,
well, I think we figured out their business model. Apparently, everybody knew their business model, but me. That was a silly thing to say. Anyway. Yeah, and I didn't watch the rest of it because I just went straight to the Elite Dangerous thing after the fact. But that's fine. That's because of my pathetic schedule. Well, yeah, it's terrible. Whew, man, that was all right. I think I feel good about this. I definitely there is something codifying about seeing it walk around, seeing it look, the comparisons to Cyberpunk are, on the one hand, they come with some baggage. However, that is like known to be one of the prettiest and most graphically demanding games. So you go and establish an immediate feel comparison to that, and that's nice, right?
Aren't they supposed to be the sort of same slice of science fiction, though? It's a little unfair.
Sort of, yeah.
Maybe, but I just meant like the look and feel of something. Your game gets at first look gets compared to something that's known to look great,
right? A known AAA title. I mean, current,
right? That, yeah,
yeah. It's well.
So it definitely was not. I wasn't thinking, Mass Effect 2004 or something. It definitely, has some appearances of that, but as far as the characters having distinct movements and the lighting and the way characters moved, it definitely had, it didn't look like this was their first FPS.
Right. It was aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Yes. Didn't look,
but it's also not demanding. Those NPCs don't have to but stand or walk from point A to point B, 20 feet away.
And some were sitting. So they're sitting
and have a conversation. Right. It's a George Lucas movie.
Yes, it is.
Hey, if I could defer for a minute, I heard you bring up Mass Effect Legacy Edition, where they put all the 3 original games is going to get a re-release or repolish for you Mass Effect fans.
When?
That's a good question. I don't have information.
What are you going to be doing?
I want to go have sex with an alien.
What about that super pale girl from
No comment.
Show title? I don't know.
No.
I'm going to go have sex with an alien.
Too far.
Is that your impersonation of me? Oh, God.
It's beyond the pale.
Accurate. Hey, guys, this week's cheese? Cheddar cheese.
Hey,
wow.
On that note, I think we have milked this video long enough, and maybe we should do Chig Chat, which I think you are actually going to do, and then I skipped right the hell over.
No, I replaced it. We're good. It's getting along.
You replaced it?
I replaced it with I want acronyms for NMLA. I'll use what I had otherwise.
Okay.
But we'll just go that route.
Very good.
Yeah.
No more language arts.
Never mention llamas again.
Llamas. Never mention llamas again.
This is going to be a fun channel the next few days, you guys.
Submit your questions to the show feedback channel, and we'll read them on the air.
I got a final note. I'll be out of town next week. So, and then the following week will be my birthday. So I'll have some presents ready.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Oh, this is interesting because when is the Devo Ludo birthday?
Technically, April 11th. I will be 43 years rad.
That's interesting because my birthday is April 10th.
It's not that interesting.
Birthday
We're all
buddies.
born someday.
Birthday buddies.
Thanks for really bringing down that moment.
Wow.
We were trying to bond there. That was a bonding moment, and you ruined it.
I'm sorry.
Joint
I'm an
party.
Aries.
So am I. I didn't ruin
Here we
it.
go.
Great, Scott.
I'm going to give you a virtual hug.
All right.
Devo ruined.
That's right.
Well,
he blew my birthday.
All right. As I try to regain control of the situation, the only thing I have for the show is that I signed back up for prismatic shields after selling my size 8 copy last week. So I'm pledged to the princess, and that's all. So I'm ready to cheese if you guys are.
I'm surprised you didn't have other Class 8 prismatic shields, because I'm sitting on a few.
Why?
Well, aren't you the bee's knees?
Mr. Moneybags.
I did this a long time ago. I had money, but not a ton, and I bought one size 8 and 2 of everything else, down to a 3.
I think I bought 3 size 8s. One, I don't know why.
Ooh,
That hurts.
that's like a billion credits right there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm good for it.
I have a lot more money than I did the first time around, so I will probably buy at maybe 2, and then we'll see. So anyway, the point is, it's time for cheese.
Cheddar cheese.
All right. I'm trying to decide which joke to go with. I'll go with this one. President Trump, he tried to ban shredded cheeses because he wanted America great again. To make America great again. I ruined the joke.
Make
America great again.
That was terrible.
Oh, my
Read it
God.
again. I'll edit it.
President Trump wanted to ban shredded cheeses because he wanted to make America great again. Is that better?
It's like Rodney Dangerfield was
It's just as
right
bad
in
the
room.
second time.
It was terrible. I know. All right. Tonight's cheese, I'm actually going to go to another cheese food. I'm kind of going down this road because the cheeses are getting so obscure that I'm kind of going with some awesome cheese foods. Like I did mac and cheese last week? I think that was last week.
Yes.
Yeah, you
week,
said obscure.
This week I'm going with mozzarella. No, the cheeses are getting obscure. So now I'm going to foods because they're not obscure.
Understood.
This week's food is mozzarella sticks, everybody's favorite appetizer, which is just, a stick of mozzarella that's battered and deep fried. And then you dip it in like marinara or something like that. But then, I always look up things that I'm going, and they said dip it in ketchup, which sounds hideous to me. But then people also dip them in plum sauce, jalapeno jelly, honey mustard.
Honey mustard sounds okay. Some people
that's the best of the bunch. Not great.
Yeah, some people dip it right in fat sauce. I mean ranch.
Yeah, that's on here too. Yep, definitely fat ass sauce. People dip it in. But I dip my mozzarella sticks in blue cheese dressing, so I'm doubling up on the cheese.
Ooh, interesting.
But stay cheesy, everybody.
All right. That's going to do it for us at the Loose Screws podcast, the loosest and screwiest podcast about anything. I think I can be confident in saying that. Hey, we've had a lot of fun here tonight, but next week's going to be the Alpha Odyssey, so nobody lose your pants.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad I'll not be here.
I don't wear pants.
It's going to be rough.
Ever.
Ever. No pants ever.
Pants are evil.
We have been glad to have you all as listeners. I have been glad to have been joined by Commander Chig, Devo Looter, Dubs, Lieutenant Commander Data, and Nurgle. Thank you, everyone, for being here and hanging out with me and making fun of me. And thank you all for listening. And we'll see you next time. Loose Screws out.
Party on, Garth.
They'll see us.